Good morning and Happy New Year. Today is December 31st, 2024, and it's a Tuesday. I am part of a Facebook group called Casing Tuesday that always shows a card sketch every Tuesday and invites you to create a card following that sketch and share it on the group. There's their logo. So I woke up this morning a little early and thought, let's make a New Year's card. So I'm going to use the Throughout the Year stamp set for my sentiment and create a quick, fun card with you based on that sketch. Last night on my Facebook Live, I showed the Darling Dinos stamp set. This one's coming out next week in the new mini catalog. And I neglected to talk about all of these fun little accessories that you can add to your dinosaurs. So we're going to use that today. But first, let's put together the basic card. I've got a piece of fresh freesia cardstock, 8.5 by 5.5, scored in the middle at 4 1/4. And we're going to make this horizontal. Again, I'm following that card sketch. I cut my paper slightly smaller than they suggested. So I've got 2 pieces of designer series paper. These are both from the Bright and Beautiful paper pack in the annual catalog. One of them is 3 by 3, and the other one is 2.5 by 2.5. And then I cut a couple of Blackberry Bliss squares, just ever so slightly larger. So these are 1/8 of an inch larger than my designer series paper because I wanted just a tiny bit of trim, but I didn't want my squares too large just because of the way everything I want to use fits on the card front. So just that tiny bit of border is going to make a difference when I layer these pieces together. So you saw me just pull. If I get a blob of glue too close to the edge, I just use the tip of my glue bottle to smear that around a little bit. You don't want that liquid glue to ooze out. This Tombow liquid glue, multi-purpose glue, is my favorite adhesive. It's not very, very strong, lasts a good long time. I've never had it dry up and peel off, but it does stay wet when it oozes out. It stays tacky when it oozes out. It doesn't dry like Elmer's, so you don't want it oozing where you don't want it. Okay, so those are ready to go for my card front, but I want to add a sentiment. Again, I'm using that Cheers to You in the New Year from the Throughout the Year stamp set. And I'm going to stamp it in Blackberry Bliss. Sorry, I'm kind of bouncing the table around. Okay, I'm actually going to go ahead and lay these down where I think they're going to go, just to give me an idea of how much space I have. So those are going to go something like that. I want my sentiment to fit in this space, and it's just barely going to do so. So this is going to need to slide over a little bit. And let's see if I can get it nice and straight. I'm stamping directly on the card front, which I don't usually do. I usually stamp on a layer. And when you stamp on a layer, you always have the opportunity, if it's crooked, of flipping your paper over and trying again. So it took a little more time to make sure that was nice and straight. And then we're ready to just attach these layers. Let's go ahead and do that. Uh-oh, got a little power surge there. Sorry about that lighting. I chose this paper for the celebratory print, and I feel like the Blackberry Bliss is a nice rich color. I think of black and white a lot of times for New Year's, but the Blackberry Bliss is nice and rich, and let me see which way. I think I want it to go this way. And dark. So I feel like that works well for New Year's also. Okay, and then I mentioned I'm using the Darling Dinos. I stamped this Tyrannosaurus, die cut him with the coordinating dies, and I also am gonna deck him out a little bit for the holiday. So I'm bringing back my Blackberry Bliss ink, and I'm gonna stamp a top hat and a tie. So we can just quickly color these. I'm gonna make the band of my top hat Fresh Freesia. This is the dark Fresh Freesia blend. And I like to do the light part first. And then this is dark Blackberry Bliss. And I'm going to use the bullet tip for this narrow section and right against the band so I don't bleed over. And then I'll use the brush tip for the rest of it. So there's my top hat. And then for the tie, I actually decided to use the light Blackberry Bliss just because I want those lines to show really well. I was afraid if I used the dark Blackberry Bliss that I might lose those lines. We'll hit the knot a second time. And then again, use the coordinating dies, cut those out. We add those to our little dinosaur. And he'll be ready for a party. So we'll give him his hat. And that little bow tie could also be a hair bow in a little dinosaur. But because it's so tiny, I'm just going to put a little tiny dot right there where I want the tie to go. And then I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool, the putty tip, come on, to pick up that tie so I don't stick my fingers in the glue. Set it right where I want it. And there's my dinosaur ready for a party. I'm going to pop him up on dimensionals. So that he's lifted off the page a bit. And you notice how the, again, that Blackberry Bliss layer just kind of helps those pieces pop from the page. Pull the backings off of those. And we're going to add him kind of right there. Almost done. I'm just going to add a few embellishments. I have these purple fine shimmer gems that come in 3 different colors. I'm going to use the darkest one. Again, my Take Your Pick tool is going to be my friend to help me just slide those right off. And I think I'm going to add, every New Year's needs a bit of sparkle, right? 1, 2, 3 of those. And it is done. I feel like a New Year's card is a great way if you didn't get around to sending Christmas cards, or if you neglected to send a Christmas card to someone who sent one to you, or if you just want to wish someone a Happy New Year. This is a New Year's card is a great way to do it. Hope you enjoyed and have a safe and Happy New Year.